Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is 5:07 p.m. and I call this public meeting to order. I want to thank everyone who is joining us this evening. If you want to make a public comment on this items listed under closed session agenda, please listen carefully to the directions provided by the clerk. Mrs. Soto?
This public hearing is for visitors who wish to address the board on closed session items. 15 minutes of this portion of the meeting are reserved for members of the public to address the board on closed session items. Speakers seeking to comment on other items are requested to make those comments during the public comment portion of the meeting at 6:30 p.m. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. The school board is prohibited by law from taking action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda, and no adverse conclusion should be drawn if the school board does not respond to public comment at this time. If you wish to address the board on an item included in this section of the agenda, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided in writing will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have participants who wish to address the board at this time.
Thank you, Mrs. Soto. Seeing none, hearing none, I close this public comment as hearing and adjourn to closed session to discuss items 1A through 1D. The board will reconvene at the conclusion of closed session. At this time, I ask everyone joining this meeting to please silence any electronic devices that are not linked to this meeting. Mrs. Soto, please call the roll.
Trustee Sosa Ramirez?
Here.
Trustee Santos?
Here.
Trustee Ahmad?
Here.
Trustee Cortez?
Here.
Trustee Dybert?
Here.
Trustee Fleek?
Here.
Trustee Seibert? Clerk Mendoza?
Here.
And President Salazar.
Here. Thank you, Ms. Soto. Clerk Mendoza, would you please lead us in a flag salute?
Yes, please stand. Face the flag to the north wall. Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Clerk Mendoza. Tonight's scheduled invocation will be provided by Pastor Derek Pro of First Christian Church. I invite Pastor Pro to the podium.
Thank you again for this opportunity to pray for the Madera Unified School District. Will you pray with me, please? Father God, we come before you tonight, asking for your presence and your guidance on the Madera Unified School District. We praise you for a solid school year. We praise you for just the fact that there are people in this room committed to the education of these students, God. And our prayer also goes for the commencement activities. God, may they be safe. May they be sober. May they be an opportunity to celebrate accomplishments in the lives of these students as they advance from one grade to the next. God, we put this all in your hand tonight, and we thank you for how you guide and direct us, which in Jesus' name we do pray because we do believe. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Pro. Closed session reportable action, Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, we have no items to report this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Adoption of the agenda. Mrs. Soto.
Action to add or delete items from any portion of the agenda or to discuss any consent agenda items must be taken prior to the adoption of the agenda.
Superintendent Lyle, does staff have items to add or remove from the agenda?
President Salazar, we do not.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Trustees, do you have items to add or delete from the agenda? No, thank you. Trustees, I do have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda presented. Please state your name when you make the motion and second the motion.
Clerk Mendoza, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Trustee Fleek, all second.
It has been moved by Clerk Mendoza and second by Trustee Fleek to adopt the agenda as presented. Mrs. Soto, please pull the board for the record.
Trustee Sosa Ramirez?
Yes.
Trustee Santos?
Yes.
Trustee Ahmad?
Yes.
Trustee Cortez?
Yes.
Trustee Dybert,
Yes.
Trustee Fleek,
Yes.
Trustee Seibert, Clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
and President Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar, I counted 8 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 1 absent, and 2 of the votes are preferential.
Thank you, Mrs. Soto. Student Board Representative Report, Mortisa Martinez Hernandez of Alternative Education and Tatiana Gonzalez of Madero South High School. I invite Mortisa Martinez Hernandez to present Alternative Education Student Representative Report.
Hello.
Mortisa Martinez Hernandez.
Yes. Good evening, Board President, Superintendent Lyle, and board members. Hello, my name is Maritza Martinez, and I am a senior at Mount Vista High. I'll be presenting information on behalf of the alternative education schools, but before I do that, please allow me to say a few words about myself. Hello all, from Maritza, or known as Ree. I am glad to have the honor of speaking to you all and having the honor of speaking on behalf of Mount Vista and all the alternative high schools. Today I will be going over all the fun activities and events my school and all the alternative high schools have hosted. I hope you all enjoy. Next slide, please. During each week of the month of May, Mount Vista High School students will have an opportunity to participate in different activities to create positive awareness regarding mental health. These are a few of our Wellness Month activities we've gone through. Next slide, please. Mount Vista High School students were able to participate in our Student Appreciation Wall, where students were able to walk up to the wall and select a positive message that our staff wrote for them. When students picked up a message and read it out loud, they were able to pick up a Mexican paleta to enjoy and put a smile on their face. Next slide, please. Mount Vista and Furman High staff collaborated to host the first ever joint prom on Friday, May 12th. All students were able to have a memorable and fun experience at the fabulous San Joaquin Winery. It was definitely a Hollywood night for students at Mount Vista and Furman High. Expect to see more collaborations in the near future. A mental health awareness fair was organized for students to receive information on how to positively and safely deal with mental health issues. Vendors brought different gift items to give out for student participation. Congratulations to Mario Espinosa, who was nominated by his teachers as a Quarter 3 student hero. Mario has adapted extremely well at Mount Vista and is always praised for his ability to get along with others. Congratulations, Mario. Our Ripperton students are always planning for the future. On April 26th, Ripperton hosted a Madera Community College president, Dr. Renaya. Dr. Renaya spoke to the students about his history and about the opportunities available to Madera Community College. Students learned that Madera Community College is for everyone. Thank you, Mr. Renaya, and to our counselor, Lucia Santana, for bringing him to Ripperton. Ripperton Middle School leadership students took a field trip to Millerton Lake. Students have been studying health habits and took a hike at Millerton as an occasional activity for their students. Congratulations to Darian Chavez, who was selected by his teachers as a fourth quarter student hero. Darian worked hard to earn the respect of the Ripperton community. We are proud of his accomplishments. Ripperton is proud of our graduates, Darian Chavez, Kevin Bautista, and Gonzalo Ortiz. All 3 students have worked very hard to complete all credits and received a Madera Unified Diploma. They all have plans to continue their education after high school and are working with our academic counselor to make sure they are ready for the next step. They have a bright future ahead of them. Furman High School organized several activities throughout the month of May and June, in order to promote climate and culture as well as students, parents, and community involvement. On May 24th, Furman will host its annual senior dinner and award night. All seniors and their families are invited to participate. On May 31st, students, staff, and parents will take a trip to Yosemite to learn about nature, its beauty, and its history of Yosemite. On June 2nd, seniors will take part in a trip to visit a college and Six Flags Discovery Kingdom to learn about the wildlife and tropical forests. Our character counts for the fourth quarter recipient, Jonathan has exhibited trust, self-control, and perseverance through his time here at Furman High School. He is known by his teachers to be timely, respectful, and kind to others. He has established trust with his peers and staff. Can always count on Jonathan to be calm and collective no matter the circumstance. Congratulations, Jonathan. Oh, what a night. It was a glam night full of picture taking, dancing at our Furman and Mount Vista High prom at the San Joaquin Winery. There was great participation by students, staff, and parent volunteers. Great job to our schools on successfully collaborating jointly to host this prom. Join me in acknowledging another great collaboration between Furman High and ATP during our second annual for Furman High and ATP Cornhole Tournament. This was a great day, a friendly competition, skill building, and community way to collaborate with other students of MUSD. Together we rise. Congratulations to Mr. Raymond for being nominated for Furman High Distinguished Teacher of the Year Award and Student Champion of the Year 2022 through 2023. Mr. Raymond, sorry, could you go back? Mr. Raymond earned this recognition due to his commitment and dedication to English learners and all his students who need his support and guidance within their academics in order to stay on track with graduation. Mr. S. cited Council PLC, SAP lead, and WASC committees were helping the school promote student voice, culture, and language. Next slide. Furman High School promotes college and career readiness by participating in early academic outreach programs. As part of the program, our students and Madera High School were invited to visit California State University, Monterey Bay. The student recently toured the campus and explored the university's academic options. We're happy to continue preparing our students for college-bound opportunities. Go Falcons! Furman High seniors were asked to reflect upon their learning experience and their overall lessons learned within the leadership class. These are a few of their comments from students. I learned about the significance of community, responsibility, and honesty. Through leadership, I learned how to be a better public speaker. Thank you to Miss Howard and Miss A for not giving up on me and for believing in me. It's been an honor to be your student. Great improvement like I had through leadership. I've learned I can take action, help, and lead. The alternative education schools are helping students finish strong and graduate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Martinez Hernandez. I invite Devali Leanos, who is filling in for Tatiana Gonzalez, to present the Madera South High School Student Representative Report.
Good morning, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, and Superintendent Lyle. My name is Devela Lianos, and I will be presenting the Madera South School Stallion Report. After surveying students at Madera South at the beginning of the year, the tradition they were most excited to see come back was the Black Light Rally to wrap up Battle of the Classes week. The tradition returned and the spirit was felt by all our stallions. Students in Hiking Club volunteered with the AAUW 5K to fundraise for scholarships and send 7th grade girls to summer camp. The Stallion FCCLA celebrated their seniors and installed the chapter officers for the 2023-2024 school year. Tatiana Gonzalez, Catherine Morales Avalios, and Genesis Guillen earned their Golden State degrees and graduation stools. Junior Jasmine Suarez Vasquez has been installed as the CAFCCLA State Treasurer for the 2023-2024 school year. Recently, HOSA and the MSHS CTE Patient Care Pathway held their awards and officer inductions on May 4th. It was a great turnout with students and families present as students were recognized for all of their achievements. Nisa Villa was also recognized as the HOSA Student of the Year. Madera South girls track and field won the NYL League, having 9 individual event champions on the day. They had 12 female track athletes compete at the divisionals and 6 female track athletes compete at the CIF Masters Valley meet at Buchanan High School. We are very proud of our track and field team. Our Madera South Aquatics, led by Miranda Perez, held a spring water camp in our pool for 3 elementary feeders as part of our ELOP program to get kids to participate in water sports like swim and water polo by the time they are in middle school and high school. Great job, Stallions. Our Madera South swim and dive team won the NYL League. This was the first league win in school history for this program. We congratulate them and their coaches, Rich Petzinger and Miranda Perez, for a job well done. Our Fellowship of Christian Athletes Club held a pancake breakfast with a guest speaker, Jack Leithman from Easton. Over 100 athletes came through the line to eat pancakes, eggs, and bacon and listen to a great motivational speaker. Madera South hosted its first Madtown ASB Leadership Conference to network and build connections between Stallion, Toro, and Coyote leaders. Trainer Scott Bakovich led students through exercises that taught leaders the importance of building trust with all students on campus and focused on inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Llanos. Student Board Member Information and Report. Trustee Sosa Ramirez, I invite you to share your report with the board.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, and individuals present. Currently at THS, there are various activities going on with the conclusion of the year, stress relief activities, and efforts to minimize stress among students during finals week. Every time it becomes more real, caps and gowns have for the first time begun to be distributed on campus. Elementary walk plans and discussion for events following have been prevalent among peers and staff. Once again, with May being Mental Health Month, the students have expressed an interest in a simplified guide of available resources that is accessible to them and their families through their campus's webs and social media pages, bulletin boards, parent resource centers, etc., to gain an understanding of where support can be obtained from and the process and steps to receiving that support needed. That will be concluding my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Sosa Ramirez. Trustee Santos, I invite you to share your report with the board.
Thank you, Board President Salazar. Good evening, Superintendent Lyle, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board. A precautionary lockdown transpired last May 17, 2023 at Furman High and other schools due to an incident near Madera High. The incident was immediately contained and no students were harmed. Next, Alternative Education's junior and senior prom was successfully held at San Joaquin Winery in Madera, which was participated jointly by Furman High and Mountain Vista on May 12, 2023. The event was seamlessly organized by both schools, having a well-thought-out security plan to ensure safety of all attendees. Students were elegantly dressed as they walked on a red carpet in a Hollywood theme. The event was very memorable among students, for they gained more friends during this event. With regards to the Stop It app, all student board members had a meeting with directors Karen DeOrian and George Garnica last May 16, 2023, wherein Stop It app video draft was viewed and approved moving forward for its completion. The target date for the relaunch would be August 7, 2023 to be participated by elementary to high school under MUSD. Lastly, Furman covered patio per Deputy Superintendent Schwartz is included in the board's list of projects, waiting for the board's approval to commence construction. This concludes my information and report. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Santos. Now we move to the Madera Minutes. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, members of the board and general public, we have a video highlight of some of the things that we're most proud of in the last few weeks. That didn't seem like a brand new stallion report for the first time. That was very well done.
Thank you. We start this Madera Minutes with the district champions that help our MUSD students thrive. Several Madera Unified staff and faculty were honored with the We Believe Champion Award. These last couple of weeks, school leaders nominated awardees who exemplified what MUSD is all about, making a positive impact on each student. And MUSD celebrated the commencement of 13 residents who completed the Madera Teacher Residency Program. The event occurred at Pershing Elementary School and brought together the community to observe this momentous occasion. In other things, community members joined Madera Unified as a district honor first world champions, the Madtown Robotics 1323 team with the community celebration at Matilda Torres High School. During the event, Assembly Member Esmeralda Soria and Congressman John Duarte recognized the team for their accomplishment. The team was also honored by Madera Mayor Santos Garcia and the City Council members with certificates of recognition. And on the topic of recognition, Madera Unified Migrant Education Program Coordinator Blanca Bishop was recognized and given a proclamation by Madera Mayor Santos Garcia, naming her the city's Educator of the Year. She was chosen for providing excellent services for migrant students and having great communication with their families. And congratulations to MadTech Future Business Leaders of America on becoming state champions in the Central Section FBLA. This was the first time in Madera Unified's history students competed at the state competition in Sacramento. And Madera Unified continues to help their MUSD families and community in any way possible. The district's Children and Youth Transition Program held an open house to showcase what their program has accomplished and some services they offer to MUSD families and the surrounding community, including access to free clothes, food, school supplies, and more.
Just to make our families feel special, make them feel welcomed, don't make them feel any less because of their current circumstances. It's just a welcoming environment for them. And like I said, we just try to give them that experience.
Madera Unified School District Parent Resource Centers invited the community to participate in its annual Mental Health Awareness Conference and Resource Fair. The hybrid event featured experts from various fields, providing attendees with the latest information on mental health topics, including representatives from Camarena Health and Valley Children's Hospital. In other things, Madera High School brought the spirit as students celebrated those peers attending a four-year college with the scholarship with a rally. The event brought the school together and demonstrated a supportive environment. But that's not all. The Coyotes also held a signing day event to honor all those school athletes heading to college with an athletic scholarship. Congratulations to them all. Madera High School also awarded a number of students with the seal of biliteracy. The district grants this award to recognize those students who have studied and attained proficiency in 2 or more languages by high school graduation.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Public hearing for visitors who wish to speak on a subject not on the board agenda. Mrs. Soto.
15 minutes of this portion of the meeting are reserved for members of the public to address the board on items not listed on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the school board. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. If the subject is an item on the agenda, the board president has the option of asking the speaker to hold the comment until that item is called. Comments on items listed as a public hearing on the agenda should be held until the hearing is opened. The school board is prohibited by law from taking action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda, and no adverse conclusion should be drawn if the school board does not respond to public comment at this time. If you wish to address the board on an item included in this section of the agenda, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided in writing will be read after the live comments.
Thank you, Ms. Soto.
I'm sorry, we do have one.
Okay.
Sarah Machado would like to address the board.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Machado.
Hi, my name's Sarah Machado. I have 3 kids at South. I shared this with Mr. Lyle and Mr. Steinmans, but I think you guys all should know how phenomenal our ag department is. They were currently at the fair and they had over 50 kids show. And every time my kid walked into the ring, at least one ag teacher was there supporting them. You know, they'd get to the fair at 6 a.m. and sometimes didn't leave until 10 o'clock at night. And I've been in the livestock business for probably over 20 years. And I know a few people and people from the Chowchilla area, the mountain area, Liberty area, their parents came up and said, you know what, you guys are really lucky to have the teachers that you have and that they're supporting the kids. Not only are they teaching them stuff, but they're bringing quality animals in. And showing up and doing well. So I just wanted to commend the ag program and the supporting staff that came to the fair and supported these kids. It means a lot to everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Machado. Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Soto. Seeing or hearing no others, I close this public hearing. Information and reports. Local Control and Accountability Plan Educational Partner Feedback, Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board, I invite Associate Superintendent Sissel to come to the podium with this item. It's an annual item, as you are aware, and it's also important that we call out the fact that the state's a little bit behind on its own timeline with providing some key data, as Ms. Sissel will discuss. But that means the entire state's behind, so it's not just us. We're in good company at this point. We're in the company of literally every district. So Ms. Sissel, if you would, please.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, Superintendent Lyle, guests in the audience. Tonight, I have the opportunity to bring to the board sort of the ending of one chapter and the beginning of the next chapter. And why I say that is because one of the most important parts of the work that we do in the school district is to ensure that we have really strong partnerships with all of our educational stakeholders. And so for me, this was my first year overseeing the LCAP for our school district. And I had a lot of support and a lot of help from other district staff. But I would say this process started for us in about September of 2022. And so this process is intended to be ongoing and continuous. And I feel like that since September until now, we've done a really good job as a district of engaging multiple partners. So today, I'll be discussing, I don't have the clicker, so go ahead, there you go. Kind of gave you an overview right now. What I'd like to do is take you through the district committees and our partners, talk about some of the feedback from our LCAP community meetings, and then also share with you some general findings from our parent and our student voice focus groups. Next slide, please. So if you take a look here at our first infographic, you will see that there are specific groups that are called out by the state through education code that we must or are required to meet with. I would say that in our district, we go above and beyond that because, again, it's been a longstanding, thank you, a longstanding tradition in our district to really engage the partners from our community. And so you'll notice that we engaged in a cycle of feedback and listening sessions, and we did that in many different settings. We did listening sessions in small groups. We met with advisory groups, which more commonly known to you all would be our Parent Advisory Council and our District English Learner Advisory Committee, PAC and DLAC. We also, for the first time in a number of years, since it would have been before COVID, was the last time that we actually held in-person larger community meetings, which we brought back this year, and we did those by pyramid. And then lastly, we still utilized online surveys, which you'll see as I get into this, and there's been a lot of discussion. The online surveys are a challenge. I feel like getting feedback via online or using a survey, just it didn't, to me, it didn't feel as responsive as I would like it to be. So myself and Director Bonilla have already met with some of our stakeholder groups that we use surveys with to try to think through in the future what that might look like. Maybe I just like people and I like to talk. Maybe that's sort of maybe my preference, but I feel like you'll see here that when we meet in person, we get better turnout and more participants. But there's one thing on this slide right here that I'm pretty proud of, and that is recorded officially, we had 33 meetings held with all of the different stakeholder groups, and a total unduplicated. We didn't count, as an example, the number of times I was at every meeting or trustees were at every meeting. These were unduplicated counts. We had 785 unduplicated counts of attendees over the course of these 33 meetings. So I wish I had the historical data to tell you if that was better, much better, or about the same, but I know it feels like that having 785 people in person from about September until May was something that my team was really proud of as we engaged in this. So first thing I'll do is share with you about our district committees and our union partners. So I'll start with our advisory groups. There are 2 advisory groups that we must meet with, and those advisory groups are the PAC and the DLAC. And these are the actual 2 parent groups that are called out in Ed Code that we're required to meet with. And our process this year was extensive and required multiple meetings. So many of you attend PAC or DLAC and you know that. But you can see that we had multiple DLAC and PAC meetings. I feel like my voice keeps cutting out. I apologize. We had multiple PAC and DLAC meetings, and you'll see those dated on here starting all the way back in September and carrying us all the way through most recently May 15th. So again, PAC and DLAC, as you all know, have made their formal recommendations to you as a board. And since the April 26th meeting when that happened, superintendent has provided his written response back to each of those committees. And for those of you who may not know this, that's part of the process. Ed Code requires that once the PAC and the DLAC present their recommendations to the board, the superintendent must put in writing and respond back our next steps. And so we did that at both the PAC and DLAC meeting that just happened earlier in May. The next group that we worked with was our union partners. So this is, and I know Mr. Holder's here tonight, so he can hopefully shake his head yes behind me. We met with union presidents and discussed the most effective way to gather feedback. And I think in the room, we all agreed that we would like to find some way to do something in person, but to be completely transparent, time got just a little bit away from us. And suddenly it was the beginning of May. And in order to get feedback from our Teachers Association, our Classified Employees Association, and our certificated management, we went back to using a survey. And a survey is an acceptable means and manner. That's how many of that feedback has been gained in the past. But you can see that on our CSEA response, we had a total of 78 out of all of our classified employees that responded. And with MUTA, we had 110 responses this year out of all of our teachers. And then when we met with district and site administrators, we did that meeting in person. So again, you have 47 attendees, which pretty much accounts for most of our principals and some vice principals and all district administrators who are part of the Certificated Management Bargaining Association. So I think the area where we stand to show some improvement is having a better ability to gain feedback from our classified employees union and also our Certificated Teachers Association. And we're going to continue to work with our union presidents to increase the ability to get quality feedback. I will say one of the adjustments we made this year, and we did get actually, even though it was only 78, that's significantly higher on the classified side than it was last year. And one of the things that we did this year is we translated the survey into Spanish so that employees could answer in Spanish and English, which is something that I understand hadn't been done previously. And so we did make that happen this year, but always room for improvement there. So next, we have the actual LCAP community meetings, and most of you will remember these happened back in the month of February and March, and we did them by pyramid. Our first one was held February 2nd, and that was the Blue Pyramid at Madera High School. And we had a little bit of a slow start getting these meetings going. We had 19 parents who showed up and 30 employees that attended our first pyramid meeting. We then went to the Purple Pyramid, which was held at Madera South, and had 55 parents showed up, and we had about 40 staff that were there. And then our last pyramid community meeting was the Red Pyramid, held at Torres High School, and had 65 parents and guardians and about 35 employees. So overall this year, we had 139 parents that attended these three meetings and about 105 employees that attended these meetings. So what I'd like to do now is give you kind of some highlight points from the LCAP community feedback. So if you look at, and the process was pretty simple. Everybody that attended these meetings got what we call We Believe bucks. And we had all 5 of the goals that were being reviewed and the actions available. We had district leadership sort of stationed around the room, and we had parents come around and we provided them information, and then they were able to basically invest their We Believe bucks in where they felt like the greatest areas of need existed. So under goal 1, where it's provide early supports for children and their families before beginning school, the 3 themes that came away were continuing to invest in early childhood education and supports for families as they prepare their students to enter into school. The second theme was around educational equity, and there was definitely parents and staff expressing the importance of creating more equitable learning environments for all students. It included the need for transportation options, student advocates, and increased paraprofessional support in kinder to ensure that every student has access to the resources and support that they need to succeed. The third area of emphasis was on program expansion and improvement. So parents and staff expressed ideas around expanding and improving existing programs to better meet the needs of students. It included expanding dual language immersion programs in elementary, expanding the autism program for younger children, and adding other languages to elementary electives. Additionally, there was an emphasis on after-school tutoring and having the opportunity to have more PRCs for support for parents and families in the district. Under goal 2, which is demonstrate equity before equality, providing resources based on student needs, the top 3 themes were student support and resources, school environment and facilities, and teacher support and professional development. So under student support and resources, parents and staff expressed the need for a variety of resources to support for students, such as native language resources for newcomers, GATE programs and advanced learner programs, after-school tutoring, mental health and well-being services, pregnancy prevention education, and additional support for our graduating seniors or preparing to graduate seniors. Under number 2, under school environment and facilities, parents and staff expressed ideas on improving the physical environment of schools. It includes the need for additional restrooms, playground equipment refurbishing, and sports equipment. It also addressed that in some schools there's overcrowding, and there were parents who are still advocating for lower class sizes and reducing caseloads of counselors. Number 3, under teacher support and professional development, parents and staff expressed ideas that center around improving teacher performance and support. It includes the need for a program to assess teacher performance, provide curriculum materials and training for paraprofessionals, create original credit opportunities during summer school, and also a need for more classes for parents, for parent education. And then it also came up in this area that there would be a desire to see reduced class sizes for students in special education. Under goal 3, which is provide a high quality education with aligned curriculum and teaching, the themes were around student support and intervention, curriculum instruction, and community engagement and support. Under student support and intervention, parents and staff expressed the need for additional support and intervention for students who are falling behind, particularly in ELA, math, and dual language. Also looking at a need for more speech pathologists on campuses and alternative local assessments for secondary sites. Number 2, under curriculum and instruction, was parents and staff expressed ideas on improving the curriculum instruction for students. It includes aligning priority standards for TK through 6, TK through 8, for ELA and math, and increasing the availability of dual language for all schools, providing more project-based learning opportunities and teaching life skills such as financial literacy. Under community engagement and support, parents and staff expressed ideas that center around increasing parent and community involvement in education. It includes making the Madera learning system more visible to parents and creating a way for parents to be involved in evaluating teachers. Additionally, this theme emphasizes the need for more educational field trips, additional staff for the graduate profile with additional training, and more career technical education and VAPA opportunities for students at Torres and Mount Vista and all other high schools. Under goal 4, which is recruit and retain highly qualified staff, the number 1 theme was student safety and support. Number 2 was curriculum and instruction. And number 3 was after-school programs and community engagement. Under student safety and support, parents and staff expressed ideas that center around providing a safe and supportive environment for students. It includes the need for safety officers at the elementary level and during sporting events, more security at high schools, and staff who specialize in AAC tech devices. Additionally, this theme emphasizes the need for additional counselors and social workers to support staff. Under curriculum and instruction, parents and staff expressed ideas on improving the educational facilities and improving the educational facilities and curriculum for all students, meaning to provide CTE opportunities at the K-8s and also for the DLI programs, improving electives such as self-defense class, and also increasing training for paraprofessionals. And there was a need to continue, because we have permanent subs, to provide training for our permanent subs so that they can be more effective in the classrooms. And then after-school programs and community engagement, parents and staff expressed ideas that center around providing after-school programs and increasing community engagement. It includes considering these programs for after-school clubs to reduce time out of class during core instruction, increasing intervention staff in elementary, and hiring more safety officers. And lastly, under Goal 5, incentives and supports for employees to continuously improve performance. The first theme was professional development and support for teachers and staff. Second was support staff and incentives. And third was facilities and resources. So under professional development and support for teachers and staff, parents and staff expressed the need for funding and resources to support teacher advancement, training, and recognition, as well as additional support staff to aid in classroom instruction and student successes. Professional development for all teachers, including additional training for English learner teachers, students with disability teachers, and paraprofessionals to support. Also increase the access to trauma-informed support, and they would like to see more Spanish-speaking paraprofessionals. Number 2, under student support and incentives, parents and staff expressed ideas on resources and funding to support student success, including opportunities for career advancement, trainings, and incentives for teachers to grow as professionals. They also still want the student champion course and additional training for all staff. Facilities and resources. Parents and staff expressed ideas that center on the need for better educational facilities and resources, including opportunities for national board certification, more training for our teachers to teach English learners, and hiring a more, including resources to support diverse classroom electives. So those are what came out of the LCAP community feedback. We basically took the feedback from parents, the community meetings, our administrators, our staff, everything, and Director Bonilla, I have to give him all the credit. He read through all of that and took all of the themes and then tried to grab the big ideas on that work. Next would be a look at our parent and our student voice focus groups. So these are some listening sessions that happened again throughout the school year. I need to let you all know that there's one group of listening sessions that I didn't list in here, and it was an oversight on my part. But in the fall, we met with English learner parents from Washington Elementary, Virginia Lee Rose, Sierra Vista, and we held a listening session at Martin Luther King Middle School and also Madera South. So there's like 5 listening sessions that were specific for English learner parents that didn't make it on this list. So I apologize for that. But what you'll see here is a list of the parent and student voice listening sessions. The student listening sessions are the ones that are facilitated by our student trustees. Those are listed here. You'll see those dates. Those happened at Torres High School, Madera South, and Madera High. There's also alternative ed student voice meetings where there was feedback taken. And then parent focus groups also. So there was a parent focus group meeting that was held at Pershing, at Rose, and then they did an English-only parent focus group at Lincoln Elementary. What I wanted to share with you was a little bit more specific information about our student groups that we met with. So our student trustees lead student voice meetings, and those are facilitated through our student trustees. But additionally, I wanted to have a meeting with our student trustees to go through the LCAP, which we did back on February 27th. And I know there's only 4 of them total, but we spent about 3.5 hours, 3 hours together at the district office on February 27th. And they had amazing insight that they were able to bring in from their own personal experiences, as well as what the students at their schools say. So that was one of the focus groups. And then since then, in a partnership with Parsec, they came in and did some listening sessions with specific student groups. So you'll see those listed starting at Madera South High School on April 14th, where they met with the Leadership Principles class, the Gender Sexuality Alliance Club, and the Black Student Union Club. Then on May 9th at Madera High School, they met with the newcomer student class, which is the emergent multilingual students who have been here in the country less than 12 months. They met with the Black Student Union. They met with their ASB leadership and the Gay Straight Alliance. And then on May 11th at Torres High School, they met with 4 different groups. They met with newly enrolled students, the Black Student Union, ASB, and the Gay Straight Alliance. And in these groups, after speaking with the Parsec team who went out, they were all done in small groups. So you'll notice there was only 30 participants at Madera South, there was 30 participants at Madera High School, and there was 27 at Torres High School. So they were done in a much smaller and more targeted group. And what came out of the parent meetings and the parent focus groups and the student focus groups, on the parent side was, this is interesting, parents want more parent involvement. And we hear that actually if any of you attend the PAC and the DLAC meetings, that's something that we hear, parents advocating to other parents to be more involved. But parents also are looking for more resources to support their students. They're looking for high quality education, and they want a school culture that is embracing them and their families, and they want to feel supported and welcomed at their schools. And then one that came out over and over again, and I feel like I heard loud and clear, and we're going to definitely make some changes, is around communication and information sharing. And I recognize that we're in the 21st century and most of us has cell phones and most of us are familiar with social media, but what we heard from many of our parents was that that's not helpful for them. That's not always good for them. They want to go back to paper and flyers and newsletters. And so we've never stopped that, but I would say that we did primarily focus on like social media and utilizing cell phones. And that all came out of necessity, obviously, when we went into the pandemic. But we are going to listen to what our parents have said and really engage and go back into creating materials that can go home with kids, creating materials that are available in school offices, that they're in multiple languages, so that we make sure we address the needs of our parents. And then on the student side, there was a lot of conversation around student empowerment and community engagement. A big theme was students want inclusivity, they want to celebrate diversity, and they want advocacy, and they want to, and let me tell you, they can advocate for themselves. They're amazing. And then again, supportive campus environment, and they want to focus on their own personal growth. So those were the themes that came away from our parent focus groups and our student focus groups. For those of you who have the actual packet, I know the board members do, in the back in the appendix, there's a lot more specific detail to what the students and the parents asked for. So I'm fairly certain that somewhere Kristen McKenna is timing me and telling me I went over my 10 minutes. So I would just want to publicly, for anybody who's in the room that participated in this work with myself and my team, for any of our participants that are watching on Zoom, I want to say thank you to all of our educational partners who provided valuable feedback during this LCAP cycle. Many of the people in this room know that this is not something that we've taken lightly. It's not something I take lightly. I really value what our partners say. I'm proud to say that as we bring to you at the next board meeting, the first read of the LCAP, many of the recommendations in here you are going to see in the next LCAP. And I think that's really important that our partners know that not only we're listening, but we're taking action. CFO Garcia and I just met this morning. Where'd she go? There she is. For about an hour, making sure that we had these new actions in and we had the right budget accounted for. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. And then, of course, if there's any questions or comments from the board, I'd be happy to do my best to answer those.
Thank you, Ms. Sissel. Trustees, do you have any questions for Ms. Sissel? Trustee Dybert? Trustee Ahmad? And Trustee Cortez?
Yes, I do have some questions. So as far as the survey and the turnout for our staff, certificated and classified staff, the numbers since I've been on the board, they've been pretty low. And I understand that you guys tried translating some of those surveys into Spanish for non-English speaking staff. Is there any other thing that we might be able to do? Maybe collaborate with that one Parsec partner that presented at our last board meeting. Seems like he made a multi-million-dollar company based on surveys. So, I mean, just, I don't know, kind of throwing that out there. But also, is there like maybe some way to incentivize our administrators to get more turnout? Perhaps maybe setting some goals for them as far as the turnouts for these surveys. I think it would be worthwhile since our staff are the ones that are actually at the street level, doing the work. So that was my first.
Thank you for those comments. And like I mentioned, President Giddens and President Holder both met with me. We talked about this. The turnout is obviously maybe not right where we would like it to be. We did get more classified input this year than we have in the past. I'm not sure that changing the type of survey would increase the participation. I think as a team, we probably need to reflect a little bit on, is there hesitancy for people to respond, or they don't find that they're being heard? I'm a really big believer in making sure that there's action behind when people give us their feedback in time. And I've tried really hard to lead that way. And so I feel like as people see that their voice is being heard, that there's action being taken, and we continue to foster those relationships, trusting relationships and honest relationships, that the feedback will increase. But again, I do recognize it's not where we want it to be. And since those are our two largest stakeholder groups, technically, we need to continue to work to improve that.
And so I would also like to see maybe for next year, when reporting on this again, when visiting this again, the numbers for this year versus next year, and how, what the change was or improvement or.
Yes, I will be better about keeping the historical data. It's just in the transition, it's been just a little bit difficult, but I will definitely keep that so that we can show that next year. Thank you.
Now, I do have a couple other questions. So as far as maybe dates for the goals, maybe if we can, I know we have a pre-prescribed options for them as far as, the priorities, things that items they want to prioritize. But I'm not sure, maybe we want to maybe suggest some goals to them too, as far as dates that we want these goals accomplished by. Wanted to kind of contribute that there as well. And the last question was, is regarding the Parsec, and then them working and surveying or meeting with groups of students. Are there plans for them to also meet with other groups of students as well in the future?
Yes. We would like a greater cross-section of students.
So that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you, Trustee Cortez. Trustee Fleek?
No, but thank you for all your work on this.
Clerk Mendoza?
Just an interesting thought that you mentioned about the parent-student voice focus group themes. You mentioned that some of the parents were looking back to paper and materials within the offices and stuff. Is it because the parents may not be tech savvy, I guess, and they need to see a hard copy. Is that something?
You know, I mean, I'm just going to give you my best guess as to why, because we didn't really dive into exactly why, but many of our families have one cell phone per family. Many of our families turn off notifications on their cell phones. So that's not always the best option. I know depending on the type of cell phone that you have, it can limit what comes through, programs and things that you can utilize. And I think sometimes it's just knowing, I mean, I've used this example when we did the student champion course, those were all our employees and we used a QR code, and the number of people that didn't understand just how to use a QR code, right? And the assumption was made that everybody in that room would know you just open up your camera app and it reads, but I had pictures, I had people in my room taking pictures of the QR code, asking me, so, I think to assume that everybody just catches up and understands that technology is the way, I just don't think that's a fair assumption. And to hear so many different parent groups say, like, I still want something in paper. I still want somebody in the front office to be able to help me if I need help. And so we're working with the PRC folks as well as front office staff. And we'll continue to listen. I'm also a little old school. Like, I like to put a postcard on my refrigerator, right? Like, I want a mailer that sometimes, so I can also empathize with parents saying, I want something in my hand. I want something that I can see that's a constant reminder. We get hundreds of text messages a day. Once you get that text message from Parent Square and you get 10 more, it's gone. You don't even see it again. Out of sight, out of mind. So that's just my thoughts. I mean, I can guess, but for the number of parents who have said it, I think it's valid.
Yeah, and that leads into my next question. What you mentioned was that PLC, do they keep records of repeat people or bringing in new people? Is there anything they're doing, advertising that they provide a service
for our PRCs? Yeah, they've been amazing partners. Actually, like right now, we're in the middle of sign up for expanded learning programs as an example. And we have a call center, but all of our PRCs are fielding and helping parents register their kids, because we've found that using an app on the phone, though it's really convenient, we're just maybe not reaching as many parents as we had hoped to at this point. We have, as an example, we have 11,000 spots to fill this summer. That's how many individual spots can be filled in the number of camps and programs. And we're hovering right around 5,000 signups right now. So that's alarming to us. So we've met with Elia, we've met with the director in communications, and we're trying to just improve how we're getting information to parents and also how we're supporting parents in communicating back to us.
Good. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Absolutely.
As for myself, thank you very much. I attended some of these PAC and DLAC, and the different feedbacks and what the parents went through, and I appreciate their feedback to us. And like you were sharing, and Clerk Mendoza was questioning some of the communication that the parents are asking for, because they're not all tech savvy, and trying to get our parents more engaged. And I think right now that we're ending our school year, we're having a lot of graduations and the recognitions and the certifications. We might have already a poster or a flyer created that we could hand up to those parents for the summer session for these classes we're trying to fill. Because I know, like myself and some of the stuff I belong to, and we're ending one, we have already the captive audience. We go ahead and give them the flyer for the next, that we need them, the captive audience, and be prepared in those things. But I appreciate that you guys take it to consideration everybody's feedback. Thank you.
We're trying. Thank you. So I'll leave you by saying that I will have you a draft copy of the LCAP, hopefully by this Friday. And we will have a draft copy in English and Spanish up on the website available for feedback, hopefully by this Friday. Fingers crossed. We're still waiting on a few important pieces from the state, but we're pretty much ready to go, with the exception of a couple really important parts that Aurelis and I need in order to finish it. But fingers crossed, by Friday, you'll have your first look at the draft for the 23-24, so that hopefully when we bring it for the first read at the first meeting in June, you'll have an opportunity to get some time to look at that
And
before
that's
we
going to have
come.
on there how it's going to affect our budget as well.
Yep, all the budget part will be in there. Look at Aurelis.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
At this time, I invite presidents of unions up to address the board. Mr. Holder?
Good evening, Board President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, Board members, Superintendent Lyle. Two things quickly. Tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock, I'll be in a Zoom meeting with our State Senator Ana Caballero for this area to discuss the May revise and have continuing conversations with her over the importance of public school funding and the LCFF process, and to ensure that she is, again, clear of where I am at regarding this area and the importance of making sure that Madera County, in particular Madera Unified and public schools throughout the state, have a strong financial backing from the state. And the May revise that was proposed, again, as you all know, has a slight increase to the LCFF COLA. Second, real quickly, regarding the LCAP, when this process transitioned out of categoricals approximately a decade ago, MUTA and MUSD at that time, I think, were one of the first districts, associations to come together and work cooperatively in that process. And over this last decade, it's, as all things with government, has gotten even more complex and more detailed. And from that beginning, MUTA and MUSD worked well together to transition from that prior categorical process with budgeting into the LCAP process. And moving forward with Mrs. Sissel, MUTA will continue to work with Mrs. Sissel and the district in doing increasing interactions to make sure that as MUTA and the educators are positioned as stakeholders, not only as educators, but as an association, are known to the district and work cooperatively in this ever more complex process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holder. Any other union presidents? Okay, thank you, Ms. Soto. Superintendent Time, Superintendent Lyle?
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board and public, there are several. It's May, so I apologize for that, but this is about the busiest time of the year, always. I want to thank Ms. Sissel. There isn't a group of minions dressed in navy blue and gold out there working on all of this LCAP work behind the scenes. It's just her staff and they're working really hard. I want to thank them for that because it's not easy work, and we're getting better and better at turning this into a leadership opportunity instead of a point of compliance. We're better every year. We Believe champion recognitions at various sites throughout the month of May and June are all happening now. The stories of surprise champions and the reactions of their friends and family and students are really emotional and pretty priceless. We want to thank those champions for inspiring us with their excellence, and thank the staff for the leadership and organization it takes to properly celebrate them. Babe Ruth and Madera Unified have found a way to be partners to a whole new level. Associate Superintendent Sissel and I were guests of Madera Babe Ruth 2 Saturdays ago, and we were warmly received, and the board was publicly thanked for using ELO funds to sponsor greater participation than ever before. Babe Ruth had 150 players this year. Parents and volunteers thanked us for the support when they needed it, and they're off to another good start. We also were able to introduce Director Gambrell and thank the City of Madera for their support and future partnership with Parks and Recreation. Overall, the opening ceremonies were flawless, and all involved were very hopeful. Madera County Superintendent of Schools sponsored the annual Arts Fest that very same Saturday. The day was filled with good student-produced music, artwork, hands-on crafts, and food. The parking lot was full, and MUSD had a massive presence. We'd like to thank MCSOS and Director Gillis for fostering a better community partnership this year with our students being so featured. Robotics opening house at Torres happened last Thursday. And I want to thank Mr. Speed, Mr. Hulk, and Ms. Rodriguez for bringing over 200 people together to celebrate the world champions. Seeing the robot in action gave us all a better understanding of how it functions and the reason it was the world's #1 robot. So thanks to all the trustees, the parents, the staff, the community members who all came out to celebrate. Thank you to our elected leaders who came to celebrate our students. We had a great debrief with the team today about how to best honor the future successes, because we all know there will be a whole lot more future successes in the coming year. The Madera South Fabrication Contest was held this last weekend and coordinated by Madera FFA. The level of success keeps going higher and higher as the students use the open competition model to showcase their actual skills and accomplishments. So congratulations to Mr. Denise and the entire team for this innovative showcase. And tomorrow we celebrate the life and legacy of Sonny Nishimoto. The Madera South Historical Writing class has investigated his life with support from his children and grandchildren, along with the powerful Veterans Administration videos of Sonny's reflections on his life. He filmed those before he passed. The students have written an original investigative work using the Madera method to be published and sent out to all of our libraries that honor his struggles, his service, his compassion, his generosity, and his model citizenship. Tomorrow we celebrate the legacy at 10 a.m. at the Madera County Courthouse Museum, and that will culminate in the laying of a wreath at the Veterans Memorial in honor of his commitment and sacrifice to all, and the sacrifice of all of our veterans. So please come out and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Consent agenda, Mrs. Soto.
Items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and are acted on by the Board of Trustees in one motion. There is no discussion of these items prior to the board vote unless a member of the board or staff requests specific items to be considered and discussed separately and/or removed from the consent agenda prior to the adoption of the agenda. It is understood that the administration recommends approval on all consent items. Each item on the consent agenda approved by the Board of Trustees shall be deemed to have been considered in full and adopted as recommended.
Thank you, Ms. Soto. Seeing no one come forward, I close public comment. I now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. State your name when making the motion and when you second the motion. Trustees, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Trustee Diber, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Clerk Mendoza, I second it.
Thank you. It has been moved by Trustee Dybert and second by Clerk Mendoza to approve the consent agenda. There is one resolution listed in the consent agenda. Ms. Soto, please pull the board for the record.
Sure. Trustee Sosa Ramirez. Trustee Santos.
Yes.
Trustee Ahmad.
Yes.
Trustee Cortez.
Yes.
Trustee Dybert.
Yes.
Trustee Fleek.
Yes.
Trustee Seibert. Clerk Mendoza.
Yes.
President Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar, I counted 7 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstention, and 1 absent, and one of the votes is preferential.
Thank you, Ms. Soto. At this time, I would like to take the opportunity to acknowledge the following retirees for their service, not only in Madera Unified, but also for their service and commitment to Madera community. Sotero Uribe, head custodian at Monroe, will retire on June 30th, 2023 after 20 years of service. Joy Simple, safety officer lead, will retire on July 31st, 2023 after 25 years of service. Dorothy Zaragoza, office technician, will retire on June 16th, 2023 after 23 years of service. Superintendent Lyle, do you have any administrative announcements?
I do. I have 2 that I think are really relevant this evening. First, one that's a little bit atypical for me to announce, but I think it's really relevant this evening. As a note regarding the consent, for those that are interested, we just heard in our previous meetings and in the LCAP parent feedback the need for increased staffing in really sensitive areas. And so the special ed department recommended to the executive cabinet and to the board, who just had unanimously approved in that last action, the addition of 16 total paraprofessionals in the areas of our autism program, 6 paraprofessionals, in our preschool special day class, 4, and for our physically impaired students, 6. The recruitment process never ends, and we will add these positions to be filled. So get the word out to everyone interested, please. We have 10 jobs, 10 more now available. And I'd like to also introduce to our trustees someone who actually doesn't need a whole lot of introduction to you, but someone who's going to be changing roles, who has done a remarkable job as a music educator, as an avid educator, someone who has done a fantastic job as a climate and culture coach in Madera Unified, took on a very challenging vice principal position over at Madison this year and has provided some really solid service and culture building and a real backbone to the school when it needed it. And that is Ms. Sandra Kelly, who will advance to be our new vice principal at Thomas Jefferson Middle School next August. Ms. Kelly.
All right. Good evening, President Salazar and Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, Superintendent Lyle. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to become part of the leadership team at Thomas Jefferson. I began my career in Madera Unified as a band and choir director at TJ in 1996. So it's kind of surreal to go full circle and end up where I started. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time at Madison Elementary, and I'm very grateful for the experience that I had. And again, I really thank you for this opportunity, and I'm super excited and eager to get to work. Thank you.
So Ms. Kelly, a little curly-headed little boy may or may not be related to me who will really miss you next year and really thanked you. He really appreciated you always welcoming him every single day like you did every kid at the back gate at the drop-off. So Madison will miss you. The teachers have already expressed that. And it's going to be a really interesting challenge for them to reload next year, but we'll see that at TJ too, right? The times are changing and the expectations keep going higher, but you're ready for it. Welcome aboard. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Old business, educational services, second reading and request approval of core textbook of adoption for physics and universe and AP European history. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board, this is an ed services item that will be covered tonight by Director McKenna, who's filling in for the vacant director in secondary curriculum instruction and assessment. Ms. McKenna, nice to see you.
Thank you. President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, and Superintendent Lyle. As you remember, this is a second read from the last board meeting, and it's an adoption of Physics of the Universe and AP European History. And there were a couple questions at the last board meeting that I couldn't answer. So Clerk Mendoza, AP European History covers the history of Europe from 1450 to current, to answer your last question. And I have the whole course outline in front of me in case I need to reference it. And then Trustee Fleek, you had asked about an opportunity to view the books, and that those were open. They ended up having 5 public opportunities for people to review the books. They did, those took place from May 8th to May 18th. 2 individuals did come, but no feedback was given. And so tonight I will address any other questions that there are on this item before you guys go to vote.
Trustees, do you have any questions for Director McKenna?
I did go and view the books, and I appreciate
So you were one of the 2.
No questions, but thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you, Director McKenna.
Thank you.
Okay, now open this item for public comment. Mrs. Soto?
If you wish to address the board regarding this item, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided in writing will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have any participants who wish to address the board at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Soto. Seeing no one come forward, I close public comment. Trustees, do you have any other questions for staff? I now entertain a motion and a second to approve item 12A. Please state your name and when you make the motion, a second.
This is Trustee Fleek, and I will Move to approve the textbook adoption for the physics of the universe and the AP European history.
Motion?
Clerk Mendoza, I second it.
Clerk Mendoza, thank you. It has been moved by trustee Fleek and second by Clerk Mendoza to approve item 12A. Mrs. Soto, please pull the board.
Trustee Sosa Ramirez, Trustee Santos,
Yes.
Trustee Ahmad,
Yes.
Trustee Cortez,
Yes.
Trustee Dybert,
Yes.
Trustee Fleek,
Yes.
Trustee Seibert, Clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
and President Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar, I counted 7 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 1 absent, and 1 of the votes were preferential.
Thank you, Mrs. Soto. New business administrative 13A1, Administrative and Support Services, request approval to award bid number 041923 Miranda Bus Loading Zone Project. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board and public, we have Director Rosalind Cox here to present this item. And it's, again, just the ongoing effort to improve the safety and the functionality of our school sites one at a time where we can. So, Ms. Cox?
Good evening, President Salazar, members of the board, Superintendent Lyle. Just to give you a little background information on this item. So last year, the board approved to contract with Blair Church and Flynn for design services for a new bus loading zone at Berenda Elementary School. The bus loading zone at Berenda previously was located in the parking lot adjacent to Club Drive. It was then moved to Road 27 in order to keep the parking lot and the parent drop-off pickup separate from the bus loading zone. So currently buses park on Road 27 and students walk on a gravel shoulder of the road to get on and off the bus. And so this project would entail a paved bus loading zone, drive approaches, concrete walkway, sidewalk for students and staff to use. It would also include fencing and gates, as well as some improvements, off-site improvements on Road 27 and Club Drive. And so obviously this new bus loading zone would provide, a safe and functional ADA compliant location for students and staff to use. A bid for this project was issued by the district on April 20th and the 27th. Bids were due on May 12th. The district received 4 bids for this project. All bids were reviewed. At the time, the parent low bidder was GC Builders, but they ended up withdrawing their bid due to a clerical issue. Therefore, it was determined that Clean Cut Landscaping was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder with a bid of $1,034,954.25. The estimate was $735,000, so almost $300,000 over the estimate. Unfortunately, we are seeing about a 40 to 50% increase as far as our estimates and the bid amount, and that unfortunately is just the bid market right now. Fund 40 will be used for this project, and we will start this project as soon as school is let out. So June 12th will be the start date, and then it will be completed before school starts August 7th. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Trustees, do you have any questions? Trustee Dybert.
Yes, it will. So the completion date is July 31st. So we have a week buffer.
Trustee Ahmad. Trustee Cortez. Trustee Fleek.
No questions, thank you.
Clerk Mendoza.
Ms. Cox, what was the initial estimate?
$735,000. The bid came in at $1,034,000, so almost $300,000 over the budget.
You have the bidders are pretty much competitive on.
They are. The bid
amount.
tally sheet was attached to the agenda cover sheet. So they were very close. The bids were very close. You are correct.
Okay, and the
Clerk
estimate
Mendoza.
was- I'm sorry.
$735,000.
Oh, I know, I heard that.
Oh.
The estimate was in April, you said? receive the estimate?
Oh, when was the $735,000 estimate? It was given to us by our engineers, and that was given to us in, I'd say, about a month before we went out to bid.
About March?
Yes.
And then there was an increase like 40 or 50%.
That's what we're seeing right now. When we're looking at our bids coming in, as you know, for instance, the Dixieland Portable Project, that was over 50% more than the estimate. This one is about 40% over our estimate, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe the financial impact is a little bit too high on that portion. I'm not sure. I mean, we do have other priorities that might be, well, this is equally important, but I mean, we do have other priorities as far as facilities. So would it have been a better thought, or could we have done is withdraw that and then resubmit it for a bid at a later time?
I mean, we can certainly do that. I don't foresee, though, that if we were to go rebid this project, we would see lower bids. And I have my construction manager too, Darren Klein from Kitchell. He can weigh in on that, but I don't foresee if we were to wait and rebid this, say next year, we would see any sort of any decrease in pricing.
Would it be because of material costs, the rise of material costs?
That is part of that is one of the factors, as well as labor. That's correct.
One other item to note for the board, remember that Road 26 is going to be shut down. And the last meeting that I was a part of, they're anticipating later this fall. And so what that means is it's going to move all of our vehicular traffic to this road. So imagine having all of the parents coming up Road 27, our buses on the side of a dirt gravel road on Road 27. It will be chaos. That one of the real reasons that we started to push this project, and this project was a priority of the board several years ago, and it took several years to get to this point. But one of the items that staff and I believe the board pushed this item forward was that pending road closure and trying to get this situated and get our buses off of that same road that all of the parent traffic will be coming in, and anybody entering Club Drive will be coming through there. So it's going to be a mess.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Sanders Cox. Thank you very much.
I have a few questions. So the length of that bus loading zone, how long is it going to be?
It's going to be able to
Like
5 buses.
5 buses. So how much feet do we figure?
Feet. I don't know if I have that, but I can get that to you.
So it's just going to be a drop-off zone for the kids. That's all, just
For the buses, just the
No
buses.
parking for the parents at all. 'Cause that's going to be on the front on the country club side.
That's correct.
Okay. So I know why we moved up the priority, because when Clerk Mendoza, you have brought it up of the safety of the parents having, the traffic being held up down Country Club, because Road 27 was blocked because of that overpass. Now we're going to have the same situation with Road 26. And that one's supposed to take a little bit longer because of the tracks and everything there. The only thing is that what I would like in the future, that when a project like this is going to increase 40 to 50% from our original estimate, I would like a breakdown of why those increases. If it's labor, material, I would like to know those increases. If before it was, say, 100,000, now it's going to 200,000, is based on labor, it's based on whatever it is, because we already spent the money for the survey, and now we're having this and it's over. And I understand, and the different biddings, but I would like to have that breakdown, so that way we can answer the question, why is it so much? And so we know now that we're recollecting our memory why it was a priority. So thank you for that. And then let's see, what else did I have? That's it. Thank you.
And I do think it's important to note, and we've heard from Darren, we've heard from you, Rosalind, we've heard from Sand and everybody else involved, that the public works projects being engaged in the state right now are stretching labor and materials really thin. So there's no scarcity of projects, but there is scarcity of labor and materials. So then the value of those go higher. So we're in that situation right now all across the state of California. I think the whole nation will be in that as Build Back Better turns into Build Back more expensive. That will happen. So I do think it's smart to be able to account for that increase and to be able to show how it develops, but we should expect it to continue to develop.
Thank you. I now entertain a motion and a second to approve item 13A1. Please state your name and when making a motion and a second motion.
Clerk Mendoza, I move to approve 13A1.
Trustee Ahmad, second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Clerk Mendoza and second by Trustee Ahmad to approve item 13A1. Mrs. Soto, please pull the board.
Trustee Sosa Ramirez, Trustee Santos,
Yes.
Trustee Ahmad,
Yes.
Trustee Cortez,
Yes.
Trustee Dybert,
Yes.
Trustee Fleek,
Yes.
Trustee Seibert, Clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
and President Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar, I counted 7 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 1 absent, and one of the votes is preferential.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Soto. Item 13B1, Fiscal Services, first reading of the 2023 Annual Service Agreements. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, we have CFO Garcia, the ever-talented and incredibly comedic CFO Garcia here for this item. And I will remind the board, we have so many new members that probably don't remember. The way we used to do this was to bring these items as they came of age every year in drips and in drabs throughout the year. I know that Clerk Mendoza will remember, and so will Trustee Dybert. You were both involved at the time. It was directed that staff put together a very comprehensive bundle of all these contracts, which is how we refer to it now. We call it our bundled contract list. And we try to line up all the dates and all of the services to begin and end with the fiscal year. And we've rated those for you. So we spend an awful lot of time on this, like in one really intense time period to get this right and to make smart recommendations to you. We asked some questions when we were here last time. There are several contracts not being renewed, either because we don't need the service or because the services were not rendered to our satisfaction and not delivered in a timely manner, whatever it might be. There were reasons for all of that. And any other further questions we have, Ms. Garcia.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and trustees. As the Superintendent Lyle just said, last board meeting, we reviewed the evaluations of this year contracts. So today I have the 2023-2024 contracts that we're gonna use in the next fiscal year. So in the last board meeting, I know that Trustee Diver asked me how much was the dollar amount that we had in those contracts, and it was roughly $22 million. These ones for 23-24, we have in there about $29 million, and we do have some new contracts in there, and we're also renewing most of them. We have in total 261 contracts in this bundle. And if you have any specific questions, I'm here to answer. And I know that my colleagues, the directors and the superintendent executive cabinet is here too to help me answer any questions on specific contracts if you have any.
Trustees, do you have any question for staff? Trustee Dybert?
I don't have any questions, but it's my first time as a trustee reviewing this, and I went over all of them and said, what could you take off? It looks like all these services are needed. So for me, unless you change a vendor, all the services are needed. So for me, it's justifiable. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Ahmad?
Question I had is when we are looking at the contract, before the contract, do we have second bids or some? Do we cross-check or how that works?
Yes, depending on what the type of service is, and like, for example, technology, because it's so specific sometimes, it doesn't require bidding. So we do use the common vendors that are out there, and we do check for better prices too.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Trustee Cortez?
Just wondering about the rubric. It looks like it was removed.
The rubric only comes in the evaluation. Yes. This one is approval, or is the first reading, so it will come back again. Yes, then this one is you're approving the contracts that are going to be used in the next fiscal year.
It's the first reading.
We can add it if the board would like to have the rubrics in here. But usually we want to put it, we only put it in the evaluation so you know how the staff is rating them. But when we do the evaluation process, but if you would like the rubrics in this book, we can add it too.
Trustee Cortez, turn on your mic, please. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay, so I mean, at least I think it would be useful. So when going through there, I mean, there's 261, you said, contracts. So to cross-reference them, you know, I think it would be useful when reviewing them.
We can certainly do that. At one point, it was requested, I believe, by President McIntyre at one point, or by Trustee McIntyre, to like, we want to see that so we know that what you're bringing is clean and ready for first read, second read. But if we want to add that back in, we can certainly do that. It would be no different than what we provided you last time. We just provided to you the same thing 3 times then. And that's fine. We're ready to do that.
Yes, and to understand your request is just to add the rubric in here, because we're not evaluating these contracts. Just the rubric is what you're asking.
Just, oh, you don't want to see the evaluation of those contracts, just what the criteria was generically. Okay, I see. That's different. That makes, we can do that. That's really, really a small ask. Certainly.
Trustee
No questions, thank you.
Clerk Mendoza?
No questions. Thank you, Ms. Casario.
President Salazar, I forgot. I have one question I had to mark here. So whenever you're done, maybe.
Yeah, let me finish it and I'll
Sure.
go back to you.
Thank you.
One of my questions I had is in the multilingual education program, the ISED consulting firm with Dr. Margarita Machado Casas and Guillermo Castillo. Now that we're more into the multilingual, it just seems like a 750,000 is a lot for their contract. If we could review, if the directors of these different departments are reviewing and seeing, are we using them as much? Does a contract has to be as big? Can we roll it back? I would like those things to be addressed. And then also my other question was with the Valdez tutoring. They're doing a tutor for foster care and like the homeless students. How is that implementations really working? You know, what hours are the setting for these students? And what is I want to know from student services, what is the feedback we're getting from those implementations using these tutoring companies with these students? And then the other is, again, my concern is with the $420,000 with Madera PD, and I see overtime. I was wanting to see the detail more of that contract, because I want to see how we're distributing these SROs in these schools and how we're using them, and try to alleviate them doing overtime. Because some of these incidents that happen, I know they're there, but then in some of the incidents, we don't know who to call. Which is it sheriff? Is it the police? Is it highway patrol? Especially out at Taurus. And I don't want those kind of questions. I want the SRO to be the first one to respond. But that's what we pay them for. So those are questions I would like further before we get to the second reading. And I've been following up in those, and I'll get those answers myself. But those are things that I'm going to be addressing. Thank you.
So President Salazar, we'll put, if it's to the board's satisfaction, we'll put responses to all of that in the newsletter for Friday. And if it would be the board's pleasure, we can provide some presentations on those issues that you raised at our next meeting if our report isn't satisfactory. So
Yeah.
however you want to proceed, we can work on that together.
Yeah, on the city PD with the SROs, I want security to be there. I would like to ask some questions. I want to see how this contract is being actually utilized for our students' safety, especially with so many things that are happening. So I just want to make sure that we have all our bases covered. But thank you very much for the reporting. Moving on, there was Trustee Snider, I apologize.
Problem. Just a minor. I see on the technology, the AT&T hotspots for students is only $5,000. I am assuming this is for the students that are doing remote distance learning and then probably very small that they don't have internet. I would like to know how
Yes.
many students we still have utilizing hotspots. And if
Yes,
the
and it's
answer is
mostly for the country schools and students that still have trouble with internet connections. We provide them with the hotspots. The contract before was for 300,000. We lowered it down since now we don't have as many students connected through network anymore, but we still have to keep some for the country school students that need them.
okay.
So you want details on how many?
I was just wondering. I mean, it went really low. I'm assuming but I didn't know it was for the country schools. I didn't know that. So, okay, it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustees, announcements. Superintendent Lyle. Of course.
Too, how about that? It's catching. I'll start again. My apologies. Thank you, by the way, Trustee Santos. Tomorrow, the Madera Method Culmination Project honoring Sonny Nishimoto at our courthouse park will begin at 10 a.m. Also tomorrow, CSEA sponsors its annual luncheon at Maintenance and Operations on Madera Avenue. It's a great event. It's a lot of fun. It's a good chance to meet up with our colleagues and celebrate their outstanding service to the district. Tomorrow evening at 6 p.m., I'll be attending the Madera South High School FFA Spring Banquet. Our Service with Pride banquet will also be on Thursday, May 25th at 5:30 at the San Joaquin Winery. It is a really important occasion to celebrate all those people who've contributed for multiple years to our district. The AME Scholarship Dinner is also being held on Friday, May 26th at 6 p.m. at Burrito King here in Madera. At the very same time, here's a fun announcement, right, Director Bitter? At the very same time, the Coyote softball team will be playing for the Valley Championship at Margie Wright Field at Fresno State. We just got word this evening. Go Coyotes, go, go. Monday, May 29th is Memorial Day, so the offices will be closed. We should also say that Friday is a SAP day, so there will be no students and our teachers will be all working. Our teacher leaders will be working with their principals and vice principals on understanding how they did this year and making revisions to their plan for the coming year, so we start out hot in August. MTech will host an open house on Thursday, June 1st at 5 p.m. The Netherton Relays will take place on Friday, June 2nd at 6 p.m. at Madera South. And our graduations, I'm going to list them for you. This is a fun one. Trustee Santos, here you go. Tuesday, June 6th at 7:30 p.m. You walk across that stage. And at Madera South High School, we'll graduate on Wednesday, June 7th at 7:30 p.m. Madera High School will graduate on Thursday, June 8th at 7:30 p.m. Notice the standard times. We fixed that. The board requested and we responded. And Torres High School will have its very first ever graduation on Friday, June 9th. They got the prize position on Friday at 7:30 p.m. Our last day of school is on June 9th. And to go with our dual language residents and a small cadre of administrators, I will be attending a trip to Oaxaca, Mexico from June 11th to 17th, and Deputy Superintendent Schwartz will oversee the June 13th board meeting. What could possibly go wrong, Sandon? Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Miscellaneous board member committee and information reports. Trustees, is an opportunity for you to provide the board updates on or reports from committee meetings or events you have attended. I will start with Trustee Ahmad, and please tell me the feedback you got from these committees you attended, not that you just attended them. Make it briefly, please. Thank you.
I just attended on May 18th, Thursday, Madeira Robotic World Championship celebration, and there was food trucks and stuff also available for people to get food, and also it was really nice to see robot in action, and there were some other trustees as well was attended. It was a great event, and I would say we should have more people should be attending, but there was not very many people I attended at that event. But it was a good event though. No, that's all I have for this.
Now we move on to Trustee Cortez.
Yes, so last week, along with Trustee Dybert, we took a refresher on Accounting 1A. Just kidding. We took a MIG training on school finance. And so it was, there was a lot of information as fiduciaries of the community and Madeira Unified. We have a great responsibility to make sure that our district remains solvent and that we are forecasting, appropriate numbers, I would say, and making sure that we prioritize our goals and that that's being reflected in the budget that we adopt as well. So a lot of information. The theme of the training was we can do anything, but we cannot do everything. So.
Trustee Dybert.
Yes, on May 11, I attended the Madeira High School Seal of Biliteracy Awards, and I think there were about 48 students, I'm not sure, that received their award certificates and medals, and it was a very festive event with typical dances and songs. Superintendent Lyle and I were there. The music was nice, and I was pleased to see the support of the parents and the families. They did it right outside I don't know what that's called, the auditorium, I guess, or
Yeah.
Yes, it was very nice. They would not let me go. They said there was a band coming and only 2 members came, and it was like, I kept waiting and waiting, but I had to go home to eat dinner. But it was very nice. I really, really liked it. I very much enjoyed it. On May 12, I attended the CSBA analysis of the governor's May revise. They had a webinar, and among the concerns that they had, it's the impact in the budget where federal debt ceiling impasse. The federal government estimated to hit the debt ceiling on June 1st. The other concern they had was a delayed tax filing deadline of October 15. Also, the interest rate increases and their impact on the financial sector and possibly recession incoming. On May 16 and 17, along with Trustee Cortez, also I learned a lot on course 3 regarding finances. I learned a lot of the components of the school district budget. I appreciated CFO Garcia way more now. Thank you for your work. And I learned also a lot of how mandated reports are calculated and the role that we play. And they went over all the different sections of the reports that are presented to us. So we gain a lot of knowledge, I think, there. On May 19, I attended the virtual sessions of the Mental Health Conference in the morning. I was once again impressed by the keynote speaker, Dr. Felipe Mercado. He was so good. He was candid about his own story growing up and the learning he took from his decisions. He kept the session very engaging, and I think at one point I counted about 95 attendees during his session. The other 2 sessions that I attended were also well attended, and I like the focus on mindfulness. I also want to thank the staff for putting such a well-organized and keeping track of all the sessions. I took a short break from the conference to attend the Madera South High School Student Champion Awards. I attended Mr. Jeff Mushu's Student Champion Award and also Pedro Murillo's, who were the recipients of both awards. And this morning I attended Furman High School We Believe Student Champion recognition. I was happy to see Mr. Raymond Selway to receive the award. He and I worked together for many years in the Ed Services Department. He was very surprised, so it was all good. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Dybert. Trustee Fleek?
We've had many We Believe Champion Award ceremonies at our schools, and it's exciting to see the smiles on the students' faces when they applaud the staff members selected. And it's interesting that a lot of the student champions, they get a really nice plaque and the jersey. They're more excited about the jersey, I think, than anything. It's funny, they can't wait to put it on. They go, we're gonna wear this all week. The district and school meetings are finishing up for the year. Many of our sports teams are participating in playoffs. And of course, our world champion robotics team is still gaining respect for their accomplishments, and they will be recognized in Sacramento in June, isn't it? They're gonna go. A number of our English language learners are being reclassified, and this opens up many new opportunities for them. And I congratulate them for all their hard work. I can't say enough about our FFA students. The fabrication contest last Saturday was outstanding to watch. The fabrication teams made a finished product in 6 hours. Their task was to make something for the outdoors that 2 or more people could use. Teams came from Bakersfield, Fowler, Madera, Washington Union, Liberty, and other schools. Some brought 2 teams to work on a different project. The judges took their time and checked everything over. They did select the Madera FFA swing seat for first place. Any of us would have been proud to have their projects in our yards. Several ACT teachers were in attendance to support their students. And the Future Farmers of America, it's a really first-rate organization across California and the nation. I mean, they were all dirty and sweaty, and they went and put on their white shirt, tie, and their blue jacket to get their awards. It was really, and it was so hot, and here they were working, really hard. And thank you is not enough to say to all the staff, students, parents, families, and community supporters. With everyone's combined assistance, our students are reaching their highest potential. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Fleek. Clerk Mendoza?
Yes, thank you, President Salazar. Let's see, on May 11th, I attended the student recognition at Torres High School. On the 22nd, Torres High School, the EL reclassification. And on the 18th, I attended the robotics celebration, also at Torres High School. Each of the events were very good, very impressed. All the students and all the activities that took place. It was a proud moment for each occasion. Thank you.
Thank you. As for myself, I attended the last PAC meeting for the year, and I thank those parents of being so engaged and involved. We had our facilities meeting on the 10th, and we talked about the update of the King Jose School, the elementary school, of some of the materials that are going to be used for the development. And so we went over those details. And also we went over Madison, the 7th and 8th, that we're adding to Madison, and we went over some of those details as well. Also, I went to the Art Fest. I didn't go to the one Saturday. I went to the one during the week. And so it was good to see the different students' artwork and everything they had and their good work they do. So artistic that some of our students are from our different campuses. And then DLEC had a potluck. It was their last meeting as well. And they had a potluck, and it was good to visit with the different parents and that they, again, are very passionate about the role as representing their different sites. And then robotics, the open house, there was assembly. And then it just happened, Assemblywoman, a State Assemblywoman, Soria, I like the way she recognized the students, and they felt good about that recognition. And she took a group picture with them, and that was nice of her and the students that did a excellent work, and also the staff and the cheerleaders and ASB that helped put on this rally for the robotics team. And then I didn't attend the virtual mental health on the 19th, but I did go visit the different booths that were at Torres that evening and seeing the different agencies, the different resources that we have for our community, for our parents. It was very good. They were very good in sharing the information, and I learned a lot from these different booths and different agencies. And then the reclassification dinner that was yesterday at Torres, 62 students. And again, I think that was the biggest class, but I'm glad for them. And now they have a different opportunity in their futures. And that is all for myself. Thank you. Thank you, trustees, for sharing from your different committees. Advanced planning, the next board meeting is scheduled for June 13, 2023. Any suggested future items, trustee Dybert?
I don't, but I see that I have my district governance calendar. Maybe, are you going to make an announcement later?
Yeah, when I get there, I'll announce that, but what do
Okay,
you
just
have
want to
any
make
day?
sure that, no, nothing.
Okay. Trustee Lamat? Trustee Cortez?
No, thank you.
Trustee Fleet? Clerk Mendoza? No. Like Trustee Dybert was helping me, reminding me, we've been working on a governance calendar that we just got today. We had a workshop back in April, and so we'll review it, the trustees will. I do want to, in our future planning, is our next thing is to have a workshop on facilities to see how our budget is with the facilities. We need to work on those and our priority list, and so that's going to be our next workshop. It's going to be our facilities with our budget. And that'll be our future, a special workshop for the trustees. Other than that, it is 8:59, and it is 8:59, and I adjourn this meeting.